this is Katia Plant Scientist. Welcome to my garden. Today I'm going to show you some examples of delicious fruits from the plant genus Physalis. You may have seen fruits of the Physalis plants in supermarkets or perhaps in high-end desserts. They're very decorative. Physalis plants in this genus are related to the Solanaceae, like peppers and tomatoes, but their fruits are quite different. With Physalis fruits, their calyx develops into a cute little paper lantern shape that acts like a natural wrapper for the fruit inside. This type of calyx enclosed fruit is a special feature of Physalis genus fruits. Two of the most famous examples of Physalis fruits are here in my garden. First of all, we have the Tomatillo, and secondly, we have the Cape Gooseberry. Let's come closer and take a look at the similarities and differences between these two plants in the same genus. Here we have the Tomatillo. The Tomatillo is a member of the Physalis genus, and it originates in Mexico. As you can see, here are the fruits enclosed in their inflated calyxes that look like little paper lanterns. None of these are mature enough, so I can't open them up for you, but as they mature, the fruit inside will swell and cause the calyx to burst. So by the end of it, the Tomatillo is very round. I think that these grow to be about the size of a ping pong ball, and the wrapper will be splitting. So that's how you can tell that they're ready to harvest. It's also worth taking a look at the beautiful little flowers. This is a very typical look of Physalis flowers, with this kind of star shape and these papery petals. Tomatillos were domesticated in Mexico by pre-Columbian indigenous peoples. It is also thought that the genus Physalis evolved in Mexico because Mexico and Mesoamerica in general is a geographic area with the highest species diversity of Physalis plants. Let's go a bit further south in the Americas and meet another type of Physalis. This is the very famous Cape Gooseberry. Now let's take a look at some of its fruits and flowers. Now, as you can see, here's one of the flowers. It's not fully open yet, but it has a very similar shape to the Tomatillo flower. Let's see if we can find here's an immature fruit. So again, we see this inflated calyx that looks a bit like a paper lantern. So a difference here with the Cape Gooseberry is that it's much lower to the ground. It's more of a sprawling plant. And these are indigenous to Chile and Peru. It has the indigenous name of Aguaymanto. Now, the name Cape Gooseberry is a bit confusing because they originated in Peru and then they were taken to South Africa, and that's where the common English name Cape Gooseberry, as in Cape meaning South Africa, came from, because many of the English-speaking countries first learned about this delicious treat from South America via South Africa. Now, another thing to remember about these plants is that if you want to grow them in cooler climate areas, it's important to grow them inside a greenhouse or in a sheltered sunny spot like I'm doing here. They are definitely heat lovers and need a lot of sunlight and water to do their best. However, they will reward you with absolutely delicious and beautifully packaged fruits as the summer goes on. I would like to invite you to add more diversity and be curious about the amazing plants of the world when laying out your garden. So stay curious about plants, everyone. The Aguaymanto is a perfectly spherical fruit inside the papery calyx. I have a feeling that the flavor of this fruit is somewhat of a love it or hate it situation, but for me, I enjoy the taste. I would describe it, for those who haven't had it, as tasting a bit like pineapple and passion fruit with a hint of tomatillo flavor. I think that these are quite tasty, and I think that they look decorative with their calyxes. They look like little stars or flowers, so you could use them to decorate cakes. But I also just like to pick them and eat them fresh. Very tasty. We mentioned before that when these little guys are ripe, they tend to fall off the bush. This can be quite annoying if you're growing them in an allotment or kitchen garden bed, because these plants are notorious as an invasive species in your garden. Every one of those delicious fruits is packed full of hundreds of seeds, and when those seeds get into the soil, they all start sprouting into new little plants next growing season. This may sound wonderful, like you'll have a big crop of aguaymanto, but really in the UK, unless these plants are started in a greenhouse earlier in the season, they do not mature in time to bear fruits if they are voluntary seedlings. So how do we get over this annoying problem of them becoming invasive and taking over your garden? Well, I suggest growing them in containers here on a patio area. With this pavement, we catch the fallen fruits, and this prevents them from getting loose in the soil. So at the end of the growing season, we can simply remove the pots and destroy the plants because they will have gone through their life cycle by then. And we can just safely sweep up any old fruits and dried out seeds and dispose of them in the compost, or throw them away somewhere else where their seeds will not get into the soil. Here's an example of an even more ripe one that was lying on the ground. Here I am peeling it in a one-handed technique. See, as you can see, this one's riper, so it's in even darker golden color, and you can see all of the myriad of little seeds inside. So yes, a great place to look for the tastiest ones, although it sounds kind of unsanitary, is to look on the patio. So every morning you can come out and have a look under your bushes and see which fruits have dropped off, and those are often the very best ones to eat. I like eating them fresh, although some people like to make them into jams and jellies and other desserts, but I think just going with nature's way is just right with these. So I hope this inspires you to grow this treat from the Andes in your garden too. Stay curious about plants. And you can just throw the wrappers on the ground and sweep them up later. It's okay to be a litter bug in this situation. Hello everyone. Did you know that you can let aguaymanto, aka Cape gooseberry fruits, ripen inside on a plate? One of the drawbacks of the delicious aguaymanto fruit is that they tend to fall off the bush when they aren't quite ripe. This is very frustrating because they either land on your patio or on the ground and get all kind of dirty and squashed before you can eat them. So what do you do if you have a lot of these nice mature, there you go, fell off. What do you do if you have all these nice mature sized Cape gooseberries, but they don't look quite ripe? What do you do with them? Do you wait for them to fall onto the pavement and then pick them up? No, there's a better solution. You can pick them and then take them inside and let them ripen up on a plate. It's a great idea to put them in a warm, dry place, preferably near some other fruits that are ripening because they release the ripening hormone ethylene. After a few days, your previously only semi-ripe, large, mature Cape gooseberries will have developed this papery, pearlescent look to their calyxes. See how different the calyx looks now? It kind of has this sort of shiny appearance, whereas the underripe one is still a little bit green and has more of a soft, velvety appearance. When they get to this stage, after a few days of ripening indoors, you can simply pop open the calyx and enjoy a nice bright orange fruit that is fully ripe. When they're fully ripe, they really have a delicious pineapple passion fruit taste that's truly a tropical treat. I hope this inspires you to give Cape gooseberries a try. And by the way, when they have a split like this, as long as there is no mold, they are perfectly safe to eat. Delicious. Happy growing and stay curious about plants. Hello everyone, welcome back. Here are ripe tomatillos. This is what tomatillos look like when they're fully ripe. So how can we tell when a tomatillo is ripe? Well, it's the splitting of the calyx. That is the key. Some varieties of tomatillo, such as this one called amarilla, are, well, guess what? If you speak any Spanish, they are indeed yellow. So when they're ripe, the fruit turns yellow and the calyx also turns yellow. So yellow and yellow equals ripe. However, we have some other varieties, such as the Rio Grande variety, where the calyx turns yellow, but the fruit remains green. So if you're determining whether your tomatillos are ripe or not, just pay attention to the variety to determine whether yellow or green is okay to eat. They're all safe to eat. It's just they may taste a bit better or be a bit more tender in texture when they're fully ripe. But it's the splitting of the calyx that's the key. So what happens when we remove the calyx? Well, as you can see, the rest of the tomatillo is nice and smooth underneath. And when we slice into it, it kind of has a spongy texture with many small seeds inside. So if you're seed saving, this is a good time to pick out a few seeds for next year's crop. So this is what they look like peeled. It's always a good idea to peel them before using them in any recipes. So yes, so now you know what a tomatillo harvest looks like. Stay curious about plants, everyone.